Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Daily Motor. Today we're out driving the beautiful Volvo V90 Cross Country. Right off the bat, if you're looking at a V90 Cross Country, you're probably considering, well, should I get the Cross Country or should I just get the normal V90? Or maybe should I get a V60? Let me tell you, I prefer the T5 powertrain. So whatever way you can get yourself into a T5 powertrain, I find very little reason to spend the extra money to get a supercharger slapped on this engine. All it does is create more sound and suck more fuel for minimal gain. And yes, it's technically faster. We're talking 250 horse versus 316 horse, and obviously more torque as well. So it's not negligible. If you put a T5 versus a T6 in a drag race, T6 is obviously going to come out up front. But the T5 powertrain provides just plenty of grunt for all sorts of daily driving, and costs less, has more simplicity, and gets better fuel economy. And let's be honest, this T6 doesn't exactly pin you to the back of your seat either. Come out of this roundabout, floor it. And I mean, there's 60, it's not exactly thrilling, it's just kind of competent. Now, you can only get the V90 Cross Country model with the T6 powertrain. So, for me, it kind of kills it right there. I would rather get either a normal V90, T5, save a little bit of money there, put my money elsewhere, or get the V60 with the T5 powertrain. Then you can get the Cross Country, and trust me, that car is just as nice driving, riding. It's a little smaller, it's a little lighter. You're really not going to notice too much of a difference in terms of luxury or appointments or ride quality. As long as you get some 18 or 19-inch maximum wheels, it's all going to be luxurious. But let's hop out, take a quick look at this car. Because nonetheless, T6 or not, the V90 is a beautiful package and one that's very recommendable. It's so nice to drive, it's isolated, easy to drive. I like the light steering. I like the interiors of all Volvos. Ooh, this thing's a little warm. Fan's running. Noisy too, my goodness. Either way though, just look at this thing. Looks great. Yeah. Now yes, all newer Volvos are starting to look the same, but I don't care because they all look good. Especially in wagon form. Just look at this attention to detail. You got this perfect arc, and they put this little bit of plastic right here to continue with that arc. Big old boot, as to be expected in a large family estate like this. They put this really nice cargo mat in here, so if you got dogs or muddy tools or anything you got to throw in there, you're not going to be getting any of your carpet dirty or anything like that. You got hooks, you've got a 12-volt outlet, very usable rear. In the back seat, this is kind of nifty, the Volvo option. You got these little booster seats in there, so if you got a smaller child, they can sit and be lifted up and see a lot better. But you can just put them right back down in there, and then they fold in. This is where you're going to see the biggest advantage with the V90 over the V60. Tons of knee and leg room for rear seat passengers and a good amount of headroom as well. I'm 5'10" and fit just fine. The only point of concern for me is there's not a bunch of foot room under the seat, so my toes are a little cramped in there, but there's so much room that I can easily just have my feet chilling out there. Plenty of space for a rear facing car seat. This flip down armrest gives you pop out cup holders, a little storage area. 2-zone climate control back here as well, that's an option, and some USB Type-C ports. And we have reviews at Daily Motor from the V60 Cross Country, the V60 T8 Polestar, the XC60, and the XC90. So we've spent a lot of time in all of Volvo's lineup, and the XC40 actually. So we've spent a lot of time in just about every car in Volvo's lineup. Oddly enough, we've spent less time in the sedan models than we have in the wagon models. I am plenty okay with that. There's not one Volvo that I wouldn't recommend. They're all good. They all punch above their weight level in terms of price and vehicle class. They have pretty firmly established themselves as a luxury brand over the last decade or so. The one thing they are not is a sports car brand. So, if you want a sporty wagon or a sporty sedan, you're going to have to be looking over toward the Germans or the Japanese, because the Swedes, they're just not going to do it for you. Even the potent 400 horsepower plug-in hybrid T8 Polestar powertrain, yeah, it's got power, but it's not exciting, thrilling power. It's still just good at bringing you up to speed and then chilling out. That's what Volvos do best. Now, if you do want to see more on the V90, we have dedicated reviews to the Bowers & Wilkins sound system. It is excellent. We also have a dedicated highway fuel economy test for this V90 Cross Country. So check the links in the description if either of those interest you. You do have a few different drive modes in the V90. You have Eco, Comfort, Individual, and Dynamic. I find myself using Eco and Comfort most of the time. Dynamic doesn't really do all too much. I'm sure it stiffens up the air suspension a bit, and I know it changes the throttle mapping, but again, this just isn't a car that ever really begs me to drive it hard. So, yeah, Comfort's good. Comfort's kind of what it's made for. Definitely no problem getting up to highway speeds. This is a louder section of concrete highway, but V90 is still plenty refined. One thing a lot of people don't realize that Volvos have are a pilot assist function that is nearly as good as Tesla's autopilot function, and in some ways better. So I'm going to enable it right now, and then now that it sees these lines, look at that. It's just making it right through this corner here. No input from me. I did have it randomly mess up a few times on our highway fuel economy test. It was going along and it just kind of gave up. So that's a bit frustrating. But I appreciate versus Tesla's autopilot that I can change lanes, it disables itself, and then once I get to the new lane, enables itself again. Now, with Tesla's autopilot, it makes a double beep sound every time you enable it, and then anytime you need to change lanes or disable the system, it makes a double beep sound. So it's constant, like if you're listening to music or talking to your passengers, it's a constant beeping if you want to use autopilot. I think that's pretty poorly designed. Volvo has a pretty responsive voice control suite as well, so you can do things like turn driver's seat heat on medium.
Turning on seat heat.
Turn off driver's seat heat.
Turning off seat heat.
So that works pretty nicely. They also added wireless device charging to the new Volvos, and I really appreciate that. They kind of just plopped it right here in an easy to grab spot. But the main reason for buying a V90, especially the cross-country model, is it just calls to you. The appearance, the brand, something about the car needs to speak to you. And I think Volvo does a lot of that through their brand and through their appearance and their features, more so than the driving experience. It's not the most exciting to drive car. Both the T5 and the T6 powertrains are just 2-liter turbos that aren't going to set your hair on fire. But the best thing is they're so recommendable. The Bowers & Wilkins sound systems are some of the best on the market. So it's pretty much just pick your flavor of Volvo. Do you want a crossover? Do you want a sedan? Do you want a wagon? And how big do you want it to be? And how fast do you want it to go? Put all those things together, and you got yourself a vehicle. What I'm really looking forward to is Volvo going full electric. They're already starting that with the XC40 Recharge and now the C40, brand new. And once they do layer these things up with batteries and create electric vehicles, they're going to do such an amazing job. Then there will really be little to no flaws. But until then, I would say if you really want the cross-country model, get yourself a V60. And if you need the size and the luxury aspects, then maybe check out the Mercedes E-Wagon. That's going to get you more of a luxury experience than this car for a little bit more money, but not that much more. So, Volvo V90 Cross Country. Certainly an excellently done wagon. Thank you all so much for watching. If you want to see more on the V90, check the links in the description for our Bowers & Wilkins test and our highway fuel economy test. And we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.